Expanding further, geopolitical exposure and regulatory shifts introduce risk that cannot be patched by technology alone. Suppliers operate within nations that may face sanctions, trade restrictions, or new data laws overnight. A compliant arrangement today may be prohibited tomorrow. Monitoring these shifts requires cooperation between legal, risk, and procurement teams. For example, a data storage partner in one jurisdiction may suddenly fall under privacy laws that conflict with customer commitments. Building scenario models for relocation or supplier rotation helps mitigate these shocks. Geopolitical awareness transforms compliance from static obligation into continuous foresight. It ensures that supply stability includes legal and ethical dimensions. To anticipate rather than react, threat intelligence must be mapped directly to suppliers. Intelligence is only useful when it names something you depend on. By linking feeds about exploited software, breached vendors, or compromised certificates to your supplier list, you can prioritize investigations. For instance, if an intelligence report flags a data breach at a payroll processor in your Tier 2 network, alerts should trigger review of inherited access paths immediately. This mapping connects external knowledge to internal posture. Done right, it shortens detection windows from weeks to hours and brings cyber intelligence into daily procurement and monitoring cycles. From there, continuous validation of authenticity signals ensures that what suppliers deliver remains genuine. Authenticity signals might include cryptographic signatures, serial verifications, or secure transport attestations. Instead of verifying these once during onboarding, mature programs check them automatically with every update or shipment. If a firmware image arrives unsigned or a serial sequence breaks pattern, alerts should pause integration until resolved. Automation is critical here. Machines are faster than humans at noticing subtle drift. Continuous authenticity validation creates an always-on trust layer across physical and digital supply lines, detecting compromise before it spreads. Adding behavioral analytics extends this vigilance to supplier operations themselves. By analyzing patterns in service delivery, update frequency, communication response times, or patch completion, organizations can detect early signs of distress or risk. A vendor suddenly slowing its updates or missing normal maintenance windows may be struggling internally. These behavioral shifts often precede incidents or financial trouble. Monitoring them with respectful transparency helps partners correct issues before they become crises. It turns vendor management from inspection to collaboration, using data to prompt dialogue instead of surprise audits. Behavioral analytics reveal health trends that paperwork never shows. Equally vital are secure channels for update distribution. Updates, patches, and configuration changes must flow through paths that guarantee integrity, authentication, and confidentiality. Many compromises originate from hijacked update mechanisms rather than faulty code. Secure channels use encryption, mutual authentication, and signature validation to confirm that updates come from the real source. A helpful analogy is a locked courier route. Every stop is verified and every package is sealed. Whether updates move across networks or physical shipments, the same principle applies. Protecting distribution prevents trusted processes from becoming attack vectors. Looking beyond the obvious, monitoring dark markets for components has become an advanced but necessary practice. Counterfeit hardware, stolen certificates, or leaked code repositories often surface in underground marketplaces before reaching customers. Specialized intelligence services can watch these spaces for mentions of your suppliers or unique product identifiers. For instance, if serial numbers from your manufacturing batch appear for sale online, it signals diversion or theft. Early awareness allows rapid containment and supplier investigation. Though it sounds distant from daily procurement, dark market monitoring closes the last blind spot in modern supply chain defense. What happens after goods leave legitimate channels? When trouble does occur, playbooks for supplier incident response ensure coordinated recovery. A playbook defines roles, communications, and evidence requirements when a vendor experiences a breach or outage. It specifies who contacts whom, what data must be shared, and how decisions are documented. For example, within 2 hours of notification, a supplier might be required to deliver a preliminary impact summary and an action plan within 1 business day. Practicing these playbooks builds muscle memory. They transform confusion into predictable steps and minimize damage from miscommunication. Preparation is not paranoia. It is professional competence turned into action. Resilience testing through failover supplier drills brings theory into reality. These exercises simulate loss of a supplier to test whether backups or alternates perform as expected. A typical drill might temporarily route non-critical workloads to a secondary provider or switch procurement to a different region for a week. The goal is to discover gaps before real events force unplanned transitions. Failover tests also reveal dependency depth. Sometimes you find that two suppliers quietly depend on the same sub-tier vendor. Regular drills convert recovery assumptions into verified capability. Practiced resilience beats documented resilience every time. As systems become data-driven, metrics for patch latency and closure provide objective proof of responsiveness. Patch latency measures how long suppliers take to release and deploy fixes after vulnerabilities are disclosed. Closure time measures when those fixes are confirmed effective. A healthy trend shows declining averages and minimal backlog. For example, a median patch latency under 10 days for critical issues might be a benchmark for high-performing vendors. Tracking these metrics across tiers highlights both agility and complacency. It replaces guesswork about supplier diligence with numbers that tell the story plainly. Complementing responsiveness, metrics for defect escapes and recurrence capture product quality over time. A defect escape is an issue that reaches production despite testing. Recurrence tracks whether similar issues return. Together, they reveal how lessons are learned or not. A supplier whose escape rate falls but recurrence rises may be patching symptoms rather than improving root causes. Reporting these trends quarterly encourages deeper process corrections rather than surface compliance. Over time, tracking escapes and recurrences tells a powerful story about craftsmanship, maturity, and the sincerity of a supplier's security culture. Aggregating all this information leads naturally to supplier risk score movement. Scores should evolve based on live metrics, patch times, authenticity signals, incident performance, and compliance evidence. Upward movement shows improvement. Downward movement flags emerging concern. The point is not to grade suppliers harshly, but to make risk visible in motion. A dashboard of score movement over time helps leadership allocate attention and support. It replaces binary approved or not approved thinking with a dynamic, data-informed dialogue about progress. When scoring reflects real evidence, it becomes a shared language of accountability. In closing, adaptive and measurable supply assurance emerges when visibility, automation, and dialogue combine. The advanced practices we explored, portfolio mapping, risk diversification, geopolitical awareness, live intelligence, authenticity validation, behavioral analytics, and quantified metrics, create a living system of trust. Assurance becomes something measured daily, not certified annually. It adapts to change, learns from disruption, and refines itself with each iteration. The ultimate outcome is confidence built on proof, flexibility built on planning, and partnerships built on shared transparency. This is what modern supply chain risk management must achieve: assurance that moves as fast as the world it protects. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.